You invite them into your home, you're going to have vampire problems for the rest of your short little life. So talking about this video is going to be on mail order brides of Thailand, which would be a good option for a guy looking to either hardly ever step one foot here or never step one foot in Thailand, and then just arrive one day and your awesome wife is waiting to marry you. Yeah, the problem is that doesn't exist, and I'm not making fun. And let's keep the comments respectful. A lot of guys are thinking, and it just sort of organically happens. I don't think anyone's thinking like, oh, I'll, overtly like I'm just going to do this, but guys just tend to slip down over time into this very negative thought process of spending way too much time online looking for a prospective life partner, and then they end up chatting back and forth with somebody, and they probably make the perfect fiance in a way, because you never have to really deal with them or solve any problems for them. A lot of these guys do, unfortunately, end up wiring them money often every month, which is absolutely really super bad idea. Please don't do that. And then they come here and they don't speak the language. I mean, 99% of us you younger guys tend to do better, but us older guys, 99% of us, or at least, do not speak the language here, and don't understand anything about the culture. And in fact, they're thinking they've been led to believe that there's this, that the culture here is so different. It's just so different here, and they can just stay safe at home in their living room or whatever and be flirting with all these girls through their telephone or their iPad or whatever, and then have the one girl that they're going to be, loyal to or whatever, and they're going to show up and maybe marry this lady, or this woman will wait faithfully for them, and they'll come 1 month out of the year every year, but this woman's a good village woman, and she'll be taking care of her mom and her goats and stuff, and dreaming about you every night and waiting for the one magical month a year you show up. These are modern people. Thailand is roughly 100 years, in my opinion, and it doesn't completely matter exactly how many years, but roughly 100 years behind the United States, for example, in its development overall and that. But it's not like they don't have the internet here in it, and here's a statistic, and I've kind of really worked carefully, and it's very hard to get a straight answer here because of the whole saving face thing. So when I ask a good friend, and cute little lizard crawling up my driveway, he's going right into my garage. Don't touch the Harley Davidson. I've had like my good friend Usini, who's a language teacher, and I've got maybe 20 language videos with her on the channel if you look at my language playlist and such. If I make a comment that's anything less than glowing praise of the Thai people overall or whatever, you can see the look on their face kind of downcast a little bit. They don't really, even if what I'm saying is completely fair and realistic and true, they don't really like hearing it. The best way to think of it is, to start with, is it's kind of half-half. On one hand, deep tradition, because the culture is so strong here for a lot of reasons that we don't need to get into. Thailand has kept its culture far better than probably every Western country. But on the other hand, they're modern, and they love the internet, they love social media, and they share a lot of information on that, and a lot of ideas are shared, and all those aren't so great, and all those don't really work in your best interest. So what gets guys here, a lot of guys feel that they can just work online from the safety and comfort of their home, and at work on their break, and be flirting back and forth with these ladies. And man, that I mean, it does work out. It can work out. Here's the problem. You'd better understand what you're dealing with. You need to at least understand, and I can't teach it over this channel. I just can't. How the culture works. I mean, I studied language and culture for about a year and a half before I arrived here. And here's another really important part. I had a couple of good Thai friends here. I had the phone a friend option, like a real, actual, sincere Thai friend. You don't have that option. And that made all the difference for me. Man, it's a terrible idea. It's just, guys seem to, and I'm guilty of this too, but we tend to want this, think about, and in our mind create this new life, and then we have it. Just pop it up like a pup tent. There's your new life. There's your wife, your place you're living, there's your dog, and you're good. And that just doesn't really work here. Speed kills. And back to my statistic that I worked really hard to get for you guys. It seems like it's something like 90%, or it might be 99%, but it's something in that range. You should be hearing it. It's an insanely high majority of practically all of the women that are flirting online are then flirting with other guys, either in person or online elsewhere. And that's just a sad statistic, and I believe that number, and you should believe that number. This is what I call a closed culture. It's not open. They don't really. You're welcome to come. They're very welcoming. You're welcome to come here and spend your tourist dollars and appreciate their culture, but to include you in it, it's not really what they do. That's not really their way. You can, and please keep the comments respectful. Anybody posting any hate, you just get instantly banned. And I have enough subscribers and everything already. I'm good, thank you. We don't need your bad attitude. So be very polite, or you won't be here. There are good, and I hate to say this, but in the interest of saying what's actually real and true, I do have to tell you that there are good, innocent women that actually do go online looking for a husband. And there are, and I really hate to say this, but one way that, and you can't say like that they're bad people, because they're just not. They've just gotten into a bad situation, and then they go down a very bad path and do a lot of very bad things, unfortunately. There are good women that I'll just say go to the tourist districts, let's be polite about how we say these things, to find a husband. And the problem is after about a month of that lifestyle, according to everyone I've talked to, and in my own personal opinion, they're pretty much irredeemable at that point. That person's done so many things, and then there's just a whole thing that is just not good. It's just not good, you know. If you want to marry a church mouse, you probably can't go to a heavy metal concert and go looking, right? I mean, and I'm a heavy metal guy, but I knew enough to know, even in high school, that I didn't date the girls that liked the hard kind of crazy music that I liked. I mean, back then Van Halen was scandalous, so this was a long time ago. But I mean, you were a little bit daft in the brain if you listened to that crazy Van Halen stuff back then. And all they sang about was girls and cars. I don't know what the problem was, but whatever. So the times have changed. Yeah, this whole online thing. So. Well, how can I help you? I mean, I know I have a video on how to date online, and I would strongly recommend anyone that's going to go date online, please look at that video. And I also have a video on how to verify a Thai woman, and I'm really proud of that video, and that'll really help you. I think if you want to flirt online and all that, but don't think you found your fiance or your wife online, you have to realize it's just online. You have to. I think it's a lack of belief in themselves. A lot of guys, and it's not the guy's fault. They get beaten down. I think a lot of Western men feel kind of beaten down because they have been. You come here. And again, your pay grade goes up like 5 levels. I always like to say your dating pay grade. I have several good videos that mention that term. Those are very useful to a guy coming here. But the problem is like the example of one guy I talked about, and I got to know him a little bit. He was a few years older than me. He might have been late 60s. Maybe I'm going to make up a number and say I think he was like 67 at the time, and he was disfigured, unfortunately. Not making fun of the guy, but to state I need to talk about his pay grade and his desirability. So I'm going to mention that the fact that he had a deep, not even a scar, like a gash, it was a serious disfigurement. To say he was handsome, that's just ridiculous. He wasn't, okay. And he was 67. He was an old man, and he was disfigured, okay. And his fiance was one of the most attractive Thai women I've ever seen here, and that's a gigantic statement. Think about that. She was smoking hot by any standards, and he was thinking this was this was his pay grade, that he was such a stud, I guess in his mind, that this was fair. And of course, she was a complete scammer, and I never was able to really prove that to him. But you can answer this question for yourself. What do you think the odds were when she expected him to build her a home and a brand new restaurant on her favorite brother that she was very close to property? What do you think? That was the real husband, and they were doing the build a house on the land scam, which is one of the most common scams here. The other real common one for you online guys, then backing up to that, is the support me every month thing. I've had several Thai men in private tell me these ladies they have the calendar app in their phone, and they got 12 months, and some of them have 10 guys. And then every one, there's a guy that's his month. He comes for 2-3 weeks, or some a whole month or whatever. And oh, I'm your wife. I've been waiting on you this whole time, sweetheart. What's your name again? This concept that us guys are in such a hurry, and then we come here with this just massively inflated sense of our own worth and pay grade, like I'm out of shape and past my prime. I'm not as sharp as I used to be. I don't look nearly as good as I did when I was 40. Are you freaking kidding me? Obviously I don't. I know that. Anybody should know that. Apparently some guys don't. You want to be a little hard. We're kind of leftover goods in a way, Do I still have some mileage on this body? I think still. Yeah, I think I still have some things I can do. But I'm not what I once was. And so on one hand, I have to realize I still have value, and I'm still a human being, and I'm still sharp to a point, and I can still do a lot, and I'm still capable. But yeah, I got to realize I'm not what I used to be. And for me, I make every decision on reality. I'm real careful, assessing everything I do, and everyone I possibly are going to bother to spend time with. I deal in reality, and I have been so much happier since I've been doing that, and I should have done this a long time ago. It's so crazy. It's such a phenomenon here, but I get guys like deer in headlights when somebody mentions to them, like, so you're like our age, this age, and then and the guy, yeah, you're dating a really attractive 25-year-old Thai woman. Any thought that, oh no, she loves me. I know, I'm this big fat old man. I know she's been dreaming about. I think there's this magical sense that the Thai women are so desperate, or maybe not so sharp or something, which is a huge miscalculation, because they really do pay attention. They're very, very, they pay very close attention. They know each other's license plate numbers. They do. The Thais are very living in the moment people, and they observe everything in front of them. If your shirt's got a little pull right here, and then later it doesn't, oh, you clipped that little thread pull off your collar. Oh, I would never notice that about somebody. So this idea that the Thai women are not so sharp or whatever, and the whole country is just so desperately needing, you to come in and save them, that's a huge miscalculation on a guy's part to think that way. In my opinion, since men tend to make the money and women tend to provide the beauty and compassion and care and whatnot, we're going back to the caveman days, because in my opinion, that's how most of the world works. Show me a website where it's rich women dating super handsome guys. I'm sure there's probably one somewhere, and but I haven't never even heard of it. And I think it's just really would be very beneficial if a guy were to think about how you want to assess yourself fairly and try to have a less inflated sense of value. Again, not to say that you're some kind of worm, but to not just think that every woman's just going to be, while thinking they're lucky stars. I mean, that's just so ridiculous. It's really crazy. I can't tell you how many like foreign Thai woman pairings I see, and I have the rare opportunity to kibitz with a Thai friend that I'm with, and I'll say, Annie, and what do you think? And they're just like, they're dude, there's no way that's legit. She needs the money, and a lot of people, I mean, it's a job. Imagine if you were, maybe poor and you don't have a lot of work opportunities, and maybe you didn't get hardly any educational opportunities, and you can do this and you can make pretty good money, and take care of your family, maybe take care of your real husband. So the back to this mail order thing. So, I mean, it just does not flat out. I hope I'm showing that it just flat out does not exist. There is no mail order. You cannot work online and confidently know that this lady, 10,000 or 5,000 miles away is just thinking about you all day, every day. That's just really rare. Can it happen? Yeah. Your odds will go up if you're again average 60-year-old guy. If you're talking with women that are 50, around a 10-year age gap is pretty commonly accepted. Particularly for, a rich foreigner, because we are generally presumed to be rich unless you clearly show otherwise. The Thai people are now aware that there are plenty of poor guys that come here and try and pretend, and then eventually they crash and burn. So they're sensitive to that. But if you are actually somewhat financially capable, which means you have something in the area of $3,000 US per month that you can comfortably spend, including a cushion for purchasing a vehicle or leasing a condo, so much smarter, but just hypothetically buying a condo or building a house. If you I needed a house, I needed dirt, I needed land to be happy. I just couldn't be happy in an apartment. I tried, I wished I could, but I just, I need a fire pit to burn stuff and walk around and pull a weed once in a while. I don't know what to tell you. It's unfortunate for me because I needed to do this, but on the other hand, it's a nice legacy for Fawn, whom I am in a legitimate relationship with. And I know this for all kinds of reasons I've explained in other videos, but believe me, I've tested it. And now in that case, I'm 22 years older than her, but I speak, you could maybe almost say near fluently. I read and write Thai as well, and I respect and dress and groom and generally behave and engage as per the culture, with the caveat that, hey, I'm an old Western man, and sometimes I'm just tired or I'm sick of someone's crap. Everybody, hey, everyone seems to have observed clearly that I am in fact not a Thai person, so I do get away with this. I've said the wrong thing. I can't tell you how many times, but I was nice about it, and then I apologized, or I was embarrassed, whatever. And then a couple of times I chewed somebody out, and you generally don't chew people out here, but that person, everyone was tired of them, and they were cheering me on, and I got complimented later that was really awesome. We all been wanting to do that for a while, So I mean, but generally don't do that, please. But I've done this, but I've done a lot of work. I've been studying Thai language and culture, speaking, reading, and writing, and all the cultural stuff for 6 years, almost coming up on 6 years here pretty soon, I believe. I haven't kept exact track, but it's roughly that. So, I mean, you got to give me a little credit there, If you do that work, and I always say 50 pounds, it was like 47. And then I've also been learning some of that was muscle and bone density. So it wasn't all fat, so when you lose the bad weight, you unfortunately lose some good weight. And the older you get, it's very hard to just cut weight like a kid going to a wrestling competition, because I'm not a kid anymore. But I did. I lost 50 pounds of weight in total, which did make me look a lot better. And with that massive weight loss, I had giant prune for a face. So I've been doing skin treatments, and then helped my skin recover, and my skin went back to fit my face. I looked really old and feeble for a while, and Fawn didn't like it, and neither did I, But anyway, so I've put work in. I always wear a nice shirt like this when I'm out, even if it's 95 degrees out. I'm usually in a shirt with a collar and buttons and long pants because my car has air conditioning, my house has air conditioning, and the mall or the school or restaurant I'm going to, those always have air conditioning. So the only time I'm really outside is in the morning and in the late afternoons when it's cooler out. And then I'm not wearing long pants and a long sleeve shirt. I'm in the village. I'm often wearing a muscle shirt, but I have actual muscles. But you could wear one. Just make one that fits. You see, the guys like us, we tend to wear. We're on average, we're 80 pounds overweight or something, and the guys wear just a skin tight muscle shirt, like just skin tight with a big beer logo on it, and it's low class. It's low class. The other day I was aware. But I didn't have a glass handy, and I was really thirsty, and I drank soda pop right out of the can. And that's really low class here. You don't do that. But I just the waitress took my glass away, and I still had a little bit left, and I was just thirsty, and I drank it. I realized I looked like a hick, but 99.9% of the time I don't do that. You got to put the work in. If you're not putting in all that work, generally, up to about 10 years younger. And if you're a handsome, I've got friends that are really handsome and they've got, beautiful wives and everybody's happy. But if you're not a really, a presentable looking guy and you're going to, and with men, it's more like just getting a haircut and shaving and getting clothes that fit, and all of a sudden you look good. But if you're going to be completely unkempt and ungroomed, back home, nobody really dates like that, right? But guys come here and they think, well, the Thai people don't care. It's all casual here. Dude, where did you get that information from? This is the opposite of that. Women on their way to work, they have these big buses that pick up the factory workers. Look at all the women. All their hair is done. All their makeup is perfect. And they're going to a factory job that day. How important do you think appearances are? This is a place of appearances. How you look and what it looks like that you're doing is huge here. And a lot of that's unrecoverable. If you're like that all the time, that's your new pay grade, pal. I hope you enjoy it. So and a mail order person can't see any of those things. And those are like really important here. So how sincere do you think that really is? And I'm telling you flat out, I've been told in private that the overwhelming majority, to what I was told is like virtually every, of these ladies that are online like that in these relationships, they've got other guys. A friend of mine here was devastated. He was thinking of just, he's a handsome guy, but he just wasn't having a lot of luck dating. He just didn't quite click with the Thai women that well. And he got his heart broken a couple times. He brought a few girlfriends to buy for me and Fawn to see, and Fawn looks at me and I'm looking at her. I'm like, yep. I'm like, later I told him, yeah, he asked. And so I gave him an honest answer. I said that, dude, there's zero probability she's interested in you. They're like none. And I went, all the reasons, and he's like, oh, so he was just going to opt out and get a pay for play, but he was assuming. And the lady wanted like an insane amount of money. It was, gee whiz, it was 150,000 baht per month. What is that? $4,500 US a month? Is that right? Off the top of my head? There's more than that. But it's a lot. And he was assuming that then she'd be exclusive for him, and he was happy with that. And I'm like, are you really sure? They're working, doing it with all those people. All this, that's kind of, to me, that's kind of gross. Really? And he's like, oh no, it's okay. And then turns out Fawn actually knew that lady, not personally, like directly, but knew her well by reputation. And then so I passed on the information. I said, you understand that she's already had several other guys, and you're going to be sharing her with these other people. And then that was it. He was done. The people that put themselves out there like that, that's just generally not good. I got to bite my tongue on a bunch of examples I'm thinking of, but they're a little too close to home. But women putting these sexy photos online all over the place, and I'm going to sound like I'm some kind of like a Quaker or something, but some moral crusader, and I'm not. I'm just an average guy from Detroit. But here, that's really unseemly. Again, my channel is all about how to get a good traditional lady, and none of them do any of that stuff. Again, on a rare basis, some of them will go online, but you really have to know what you're doing to navigate that. If you don't, then I just flirt and play and it will soothe your ego, and that's fair. And I get that. I've been there. I get that. But then you come here, start all over again. If you want to visit some of those ladies, hey, great. Here's a tip: maybe go to their house on a day when they're not expecting you and see who's there. See what they look like then. Just a thought. But I would just start all over with a clean slate in your head. Just go, okay, day one, I'm here in Thailand. Now I'm really actually going to be dating and looking for somebody to spend my life with. And I know guys want that. They want the whole pop-up tent of new life, but this is work, and at the bare minimum, it's going to take you a couple of years to sort out who's who around here, because there's a lot of fake people here. I've seen crazy things maybe 1, 2, 3 times in my 57 years I lived in the United States, and in the 5 years or so I've lived here, I've seen like hundreds of crazy, unbelievable things and stories, like people doing really awful things to each other, women telling guys terribly hurtful lies. I wouldn't even know where to start with all that. I mean, it's all true. All the horror stories you hear, that all happens. I mean, I know 2 guys that were beaten nearly to death by their sons-in-law when they no longer could give money to their moms, to the guy's wife. Both beaten on the head really bad. Both are not quite right, and I've told the stories in other videos. I don't want to go through it again, but I don't know. I've never personally known anybody like that back in the States. That just doesn't happen. I mean, it happens somewhere, but it's not so common. It happens to 2 guys you knew in your area. You drove by their house. I mean, it didn't happen like that. If you're reckless, the wrong people will come and find you. These are very, very nice people, and the overwhelming majority are conservative, kind, humble, tolerate, in my opinion, are way too tolerant of all the things that we do, but they're extremely tolerant and kind and generous. And I had a good friend that needed money really bad, and eventually I kind of figured it out, and I gave him a little, but they never even asked. We're back home. I've had a bunch of guys put the bite on me, and they never paid me back a nickel, and they could have paid me, never paid me back. Thousands of dollars, never got a penny back. So here, way better. I've had way better success. So these are really good people. But if you're reckless and you believe everything you see online, which is a terrible idea here, it's like a vampire. You invite them into your home, you're going to have vampire problems for the rest of your short little life. That's how it is. So anyways, I've talked enough. There you go. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I'm laughing at life, not laughing at anybody, but the concept of the mail order brides of Thailand, like, that is so not true. I don't even, it's hard to even cover it, because it's just not one aspect of it is true, as I hope I've shown. Thank you. And then, discussing hardships in Thailand, Centkoff's beans have been kind of off the last, 2 months. So I had to switch to this other, I don't know what the name of the place is, but this little boutique place. If you ever want to go there, it's in Korat in the city, and it's down a little alley just on the left side of Poise Harley Davidson in Korat. And you follow that little alley down and take the first left, and there's a carport, like 6 carport parking spots, and then you notice this kind of hidden little cafe right after the carports. And they could work on their marketing, but they know what the heck they're doing with their beans. Oh my gosh, it's like sipping heaven. It's so good. Let's see, so hardships in Thailand, had to switch bean vendors. Had to wait a while to get my custom Harley Davidson all fixed up, and now the engine's just purring so perfectly. Could be a hair louder, might work on that a little. And I got to decide if I'm going to do a camshaft upgrade or not. Just a little bit of that lopey sound in the end. It's got a little bit now, in all honesty, but a little bit more wouldn't hurt my feelings. The bike could be snappier. It's got enormous
freight trains of power. It's overpowered, but it could just be more responsive. So that would be if I'm gonna pick knits, that would be my one knit to pick. And next month I pick up my paint. So and this is week 3 of my body barely barely, but tolerating very basic Muay Thai training. Not doing any Muay Thai. Can't have anybody kicking me in the spine. We're no more spinal injury for Rob. Anyways, look at that sunrise. So good morning, everybody. There's our humble little vehicle, the good old Mitsubishi. It's been really good so far. I love these trees. These are the same trees I've planted in my garden. These are a bit bigger. I wish mine were like this. This is probably not likely I'll see that in my lifetime. This is the way things are working out. What can you do? But this is like a courtyard, I guess, of these different hotels. There's our pool. Had a nice evening swim with Davo last night. Oh, you can see my lovely date from just beyond the water fountain. Let's zoom in on Fawn. And she's wearing such a cute little outfit I bought for her years ago. Very nice hotel, excellent service. Just had a killer breakfast here. And there was a little outdoor omelet station. Gotta love it. Good old Pak Chong. Yeah, twice a year I really enjoy coming here. 100% odds of me hitting the chocolate factory before returning home. And I promised Fun's boy Ken I'd get him some chocolate anyways. But, such a sweet kid. He was bummed he couldn't go because he wanted to swim. From his perspective, it would be more romantic if he came along as well, which is so cute. Pomput Sai Ma. Chai Mai? Sai. Chai. Oh, Kojai Cup. It's a cute little tan leg channel. Making a comeback. Nam Sai Ma. The water is very clear. Now this is the craziest resort I've ever seen in my entire life. The whole thing is unbelievable. This must be 100 million US. Just incredible place. There. I mean, look at that. And this whole place is, there must be like 7 waterfalls and different lagoons and things and stone bridges. And Davo and I just crossed a log bridge, which is passed through there. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen, don't you think? Oh, yeah. That's weird. I can't imagine you'd ever get your money back out of this. There's no amount of money you could charge to get your investment back out of this. This is hundreds of millions of baht. They said it was only 22 rai in size, which you can do the conversion yourself, I'm not sure, but every single place had these amazing views. There's a restaurant there, they're building hotels. There's one person who's obviously ridiculously wealthy has funded this whole thing and keeps one of his residences in the top of that tower in the background. Absolutely worth the visit if you're in Pak Chong, if you want to walk around something interesting. This is Rob. Video's over. I'm closing my gate. But if you've been liking or subscribing, or and praise God if you've been a member of the channel, I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that watches. You have a great day.